Let's talk about personal attributes, characteristics related to emotional intelligence. I believe, empathy and so on, these are things that we can cultivate and nurture and work on. When you talk about this, or I'm not sure to what degree you do, but I mean, are there certain characteristics that especially effective people have? I know that sounds kind of like a LinkedIn article, but intellectual curiosity, resilience to deal with nightmare toxic situations, things along those lines.
Yes, all those, right? So
right.
So a couple I think you've hit on that are pretty critical. So one is this idea of resilience, right? So this is a really tough job in HR, and it's just getting harder because we're being asked to do more and more. So it's that ability to have a failure, not let it take you down, keep moving forward, right? I've tried to have a difficult conversation, it didn't go well, right? You can either give up, or you can just try a different approach, right? So, I've had a great conversation with a CHRO out in the Valley. She's one of these CHROs of a tech company, I won't say which one. And one of the issues she kept having is she was trying to give feedback, and this is before she was a CHRO, to the line leader that she reported to. He just had nothing to do with it, right? The topic wasn't important to him. He didn't see that it was important.
Did he have a disdain for HR or something?
No. Okay. The two of them actually had a great relationship. It turned out this is one of his long-term weaknesses that he just didn't want to address, right? But she saw that if he didn't, it was going to limit his ability to be the CEO that he wanted to become, right? So she just kept coming back at it at different points of the year, different tactics, different ways, and finally, it came out in a meeting where he was really upset with how it went, and she was able to bring it back to the same topic, and he's like, okay, now I finally get it, right? So that resilience is a huge part of this job, right? Being able to kind of keep fighting uphill against some of these leaders who don't want to tackle something, that's super important. I think one of the other ones is this curiosity, this constant kind of interest in learning new things. Because most of these things, you may have been good at one level, but it's going to take another level of learning at the next level up in the organization, right? So when you're coaching to the leader of a plant or coaching of a sales manager of a team of 6, that's very different from the head of sales for the $10 billion organization or the CEO of a $100 billion organization, right? So each level you have to keep learning. So that kind of love of learning is super important. I think the potentially the most important one is that ability to self-reflect, right? So having that conversation, a coaching conversation or a difficult conversation or trying to drive change and it not working so well is going back and asking, well, why? Like, what did I do? What did I do well? What could I have done better at? How could I do this differently in the future? So that constant self-reflection, probably more important than anything else, right? Which is the ability to step back and clearly ask yourself, right, I know I'm good, but was I good enough? Where wasn't I so good? How did that impact things? How could I have done that better, right? So, I just had a class I taught the other day, and after I got done, I'm like, that was not good. Right? It was fine. Like the students.
Were you able to identify why you thought it was good?
Okay. Absolutely. Because I just did one thing that I'm like, I wish I hadn't done that. And I try to ask, well, why did I do it? Why did I go down that path? Is there a different way I could have done that? Right. So that ability to kind of self-reflect in the moment and then learn from that becomes super important.